It's day 20 of designing an Animal Crossing island in just 30 days using only DIYs. Yesterday, we built a new bridge on the island. We also designed Eric's house, making it a glorious farm. Unfortunately, like other builds, it's not 100% complete though. This really begs the question, can we finish this challenge on time? It always feels good to start a new day with a plan already in motion. I'm starting to walk around. I just got here, and look, I got an ironwood DIY workbench, which is great because not only does this look cool, it serves a really valuable purpose. All right, so first things first, let's harvest these potatoes, and as I do this, let's go through that plan for today. Step one, and in the midst of doing all of my day-to-day tasks that we need to do, I think I'm going to buy some more turnips. If I sell all of these potatoes, I'll have quite a bit of cash saved up, and buying turnips just sounds like a good idea. It sounds like a plan for getting massively rich, which we could really, really use right about now because we are at the 20th day. That means there's only 10 days left of this challenge, and we're nowhere near any of our goals right now. One of those goals, of course, though, is getting up to a 5-star island. Now, either way, we're designing the whole island. That's really the challenge here. Designing an island in 30 days, okay? So whether or not, whatever star amount we're at, we still need to design the island, even if we are somehow at 5 stars right now, which I know we're not. That being said, though, it has been a while since we've checked, and I've been trying not to put the pressure on myself of knowing that day in and day out, but we are overdue. We are going to check that out. So potatoes, turnips, star rating, and then today we are going to be decorating the museum. And I'm going to tell you right now, the museum build is one that I feel like is going to be a bit of an unfinished project for at least at first. I'm at a stage though where I'm starting to embrace the unfinished projects. 91,000 for this first round of potatoes. I figure though, if we have a bunch of unfinished builds, right? Over time, we're going to get more items, and we'll be able to slowly kind of add to them. The key here is to just get items placed down kind of where I want them to be forever. And the more things we place down, the closer and closer we get to the 5 stars and a pretty much finished island, to the point where if we get to like day 28, for example, and builds aren't finished, it wouldn't be so bad to have to run around, try and collect some more DIYs, and just fill in those little blanks. 2,000 points for me, which is great because we were at a huge point deficit there. Let's start watering these and then move on. By the way, it is Saturday, not Sunday, so if I do want those turnips, I guess I will have to skip a day. But I am kind of determined to spend this money on that investment because I had kind of a good feeling about this week. So we might actually skip ahead a day at some point and grab those, but we'll see. With the potatoes all done, let's go ahead. We're going to do a quick captain tour since we did get some more points. Actually, I should probably sell the excess potatoes first, just have a little more room. 33,000. And I know I'm already getting really distracted, but another thing I thought that I need to probably do today, if we are going to check the star rating, is go ahead and pick up all the excess weeds we got from time traveling so much. This is going to just help increase the point counter on the island. If there's any chance we're at 4 stars right now, which I don't think we're at, we definitely don't want the weeds fighting against us. Our Captain Island is a money tree Captain Island. I think that means the rocks are money rocks too. I don't know. This is, all signs are pointing towards a full-on turnip investment. Watch this be like the money floor recipe. Okay, wooden block stool. Fine, I'll take it. Ah, okay, the rocks are not all money rocks. There might be one here. It would be worth kind of grabbing this stuff because the build we're doing today also is going to require quite a bit of stone. I have some pretty expensive plans for the museum. The bells on these trees, I think, are all just 1,000 a piece. I'm not going to complain. That's still something. But yeah, it would have been really cool if these were like 10,000. Gold nugget as well, nice. Times 5 points for hitting a rock today as well, which is cool. Speaking of money trees, we've accumulated a few of our own, so I'll go ahead and tear these down. These will have 10,000 bells on each one. It'll put us over 200,000 bells total, probably close to 300,000. I might even have money in my storage. So when we do buy some turnips, we can buy like a full inventory just about, which that would be very helpful, assuming, of course, we get a decent price. And we got a balloon here flying over Eric's property, which is looking awesome, by the way. No regrets about this build at all. I was just kind of hoping to find some more crops for him today, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Elegant dress, totally useless. Never mind what I said. I'm angry about everything. I'm angry about the balloon. I'm angry about not finishing Eric's house. Is that a sign of not buying turnips? Should I maybe not buy turnips? I just don't know. You really want to make sure you're in good fortune when you're about to make a huge investment. Wendy's crafting today, and it's gonna be a giant teddy bear. I actually think I already have the giant teddy bear. Yep. Yes, I do. I honestly think that's another omen. That's just another bit of bad luck for me. I don't know. This is getting a bit dicey. Planting a new money tree will make me feel better, though. We have another balloon, which I missed. It's a cute DIY table, which is basically trash. All right, so it looks like this is the last of the weeds that I can find. If not, it's most of the weeds on the island all picked up. And so I should be able to, in theory, go and get a pretty accurate reading of where we currently stand in terms of our star rating. I'm not sure. I think everything is based off of a points system. So you can get rid of like a good amount of flowers, but because you've placed down a whole bunch of items and fences and things like that, you actually accumulate quite a bit. Oh, I just scared away that leaf. You actually accumulate quite a bit of points, and you can actually still get 3 stars or 5 stars. I mean, my main island, my 5-star island, it does not have a lot of trees or flowers. So we'll see what this turns out to be. I have just emptied my ABD, by the way, which brings me to over 300,000 bells. Oh, I can't wait to buy these turnips. Let's talk evals. It would seem we are still at a 3-star rating. This is actually good news because this means we don't need to plant tons and tons of flowers to continue maintaining 3 stars. Folks responded positively to our island scenery. Keep contributing however you can, and soon the island will be decorated to perfection. So Isabel putting a really fine point there on decorating with items we've created, which is great because that's the only type of item I use. I did find some more weeds though. so now I'm not sure where we stand. I'm sure this very small handful of weeds didn't make much of a difference. Before we jump over to Sunday, there's one last thing I want to do, and that is empty my inventory of all the bamboo that we collected from the previous day or a couple days ago. I don't know, I'm losing track. It's all blended together. But I need to get rid of this stuff because it is taking up a ton of space. I kind of thought this could be a cool little bamboo area, but it's just giving me so much trouble already. I think the best place for this, and I'll probably have to move it twice, but I think the best place would be by the secret beach once we kind of clear it out a little bit. We will be clearing this out a little because we want to get the museum to have like a path from here over to the secret beach. So there will be some terraforming that takes place. For now, I'll just plant the bamboo kind of back here. I gotta be honest, it actually kind of looks cool up here on the cliffs with the ocean down there. I don't know. I might make good use of that. All right, let's skip ahead. And Isabel's just given us the Tree's Bounty little tree recipe because, again, it is fall, and fall really makes it rain when it comes to DIYs. Speaking of that, though, there is one thing I need to remind myself about. We should be very careful about how many days that we skip ahead right now in this season, because the whole reason we're here is to make sure we have like the maximum amount of balloon DIYs. But if I skip ahead too many days, I lose that potential, that those extra DIYs are gone, because I could get too far away from, I think, Maple Leaf season. So let's just be really, really careful about that as we skip ahead. It's especially tempting now that we're about to do a big turnip run to just keep skipping, but we'll be careful. What I need to do, and I'll probably have to do this off camera, is sit down one evening and just look for balloons. Just literally stand by the beach, run up and down, and wait for balloons to fall. That would be probably my best bet. Let's see what Angus is crafting, though. It's a bonfire, which is, yeah, that's like the first recipe you learn. Never mind. I was really excited. I'm like, a bonfire? Oh, right. Yeah, we definitely have that. I just don't get it, because if I play this game every single day, shouldn't I be rewarded with more DIYs that I already don't own? Especially so early on. Like, we've gotten tons of duplicates, and it doesn't make any sense. We're investing so much time into this. It's not fair. And, you know, back when I first played, I wasn't complaining about it. But now that I'm like trying to play every single day, sometimes I skip multiple days in one day. It's really, really frustrating. Is this going to be a duplicate? It's the wooden chair. Like, what is this? Is this like day one? Did I just get off the plane? Like, the wooden chair? Where's Daisy May? We did find another balloon. And his ski pants. Total utter junk. At least we found Daisy May, though. It looks like turnips are going to be 105 bells each for us. She's charging quite a bit. Could that be because they're going to spike really, really high? We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and place all the turnips just outside of Nook's here. And yeah, now every day we need to be checking at least twice a day to see, you know, how they're faring. I have been running around trying to do my chores now that we're in a new day. I'm going to go water potatoes And then I think it's finally time we unwind with a little bit of decorating. And I guess we could do another Captain Island as well. I see vines and glowing moss. That's not bad. I mean, hey, maybe we can make that giant vine. We talked about that a while back, and we've gotten even more vine recipes since then, so that could be kind of a cool little area. I mean, we're talking also about a bamboo area by the secret beach. Maybe all of that stuff could be one big build. In this case, though, we got the glowing moss flooring. Great for my house, not great for a glowing moss build. I did find a money rock, though, which is good because you did watch me spend every penny I had on turnips today, so rebuilding our bank at the moment is probably a good idea. And it's always great to find a gold nugget as well. A successful trip overall, but now it's time to head back. For our build today, this recipe is what it's all about. My plan here is to start with 2 of these fountains. We're going to put them on either side of this museum entrance, and we're just going to decorate around those. We may as well get this rock out of our way because I don't see it surviving this build. So I've gone ahead and grabbed some food so we can get rid of it, and I'm also gonna scoop up a bunch of the trees around here as well. We are, of course, very limited on fresh new DIYs at this point, but that doesn't mean we can't make a pretty epic looking museum. So my plan here is to start pretty much from scratch in this area. We're gonna get rid of all these different trees. I'm also probably going to get rid of this rock as well, so we may as well just see what's inside. And now that everything's cleared out, I can kind of begin laying things out and showing you what my plan is. I want to start with some fencing, and I think the one that makes the most sense is the iron and stone fence. This fence is going to stretch along the back end of the museum. It's just going to kind of be there, keeping people from falling into the ocean. It'll look a bit like that, but I've also kept a gap between them right now. This is 8 fences here, and this is 8 fences here. And I think just knowing that amount is going to be important. Now we understand that this cliff is closer to the museum than this cliff because we kind of just counted it out. So that will allow me to kind of plan accordingly. I might have to do some terraforming, so I just got the hat on just in case. But the next phase of this plan is to start deciding where I'm going to be putting down some trees. We're going to use cedar trees back here, and we're just going to kind of create a backdrop with these fences and trees. And I think the best way to do this would probably be in this pattern. So that'll basically be 3 trees. Well, that doesn't really work. I'm gonna go ahead and remove a layer or 2 of this cliff back here. Kind of like that, just shave it off for now. This mountain here was always kind of slated for potential destruction, and I think we are at that point. Let me see something. Okay, I figured out a pattern that gets all the trees evenly spaced and in the background here. Now I've finished placing down my fences as well. Okay, and now we have a line of trees right in front of our fences. It's already feeling a lot better to me. Now, each fountain costs 20 stone, 8 iron nuggets, and then a drinking fountain. The drinking fountain is 8 stone and 2 iron nuggets. We'll need to go get some more iron, but I have plenty. We're actually gonna make 4 of these fountains, which I know is completely overkill, but also I just don't have a lot of stuff. What are you supposed to do in this situation? By the way, something I challenge you to do, and this just happened a second ago. I caught it, just barely a frame of it, but the fountain always kind of shoots up into the air at the top of a new hour, and I just hit a new hour, and the picture of the fountain had shot up into the air. I'm not kidding. That was such a cool detail. It's incredible after all this time, we're still finding new things out about this game. Now that we have our 4 fountains, we need to decide how we want them to look. My temptation is to keep them as like the gray stone, but I was originally going to do the white marble looking fountain. The problem is because we're using so much of the gray fencing in the background, and we'll probably use even more stone kind of gray items, I do think these ones will look the best in this case. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put 2 fountains right next to the museum, one on either side. And I want these kind of centered between the museum and then the cliff, just like that. Just staring at these for a bit, I do think they are in the same position. It is a little bit tough to tell. It also doesn't help that I think now this cliff is sticking out more than this cliff. But there's an easy way to fix this. We basically should be able to fit 2 holes between this fountain and the cliff, which I keep screwing up. Okay, there's 1 and there's 2, because we can only fit 1 hole here. So it's pretty much 1.5 holes away from the cliff. That's perfect. And noted, if we want to, we can bring this cliff out by 1, and that'll really keep things symmetrical. Anyway, the idea here is that the other 2 fountains are going to go out in front of the museum, kind of like this, which I would say creates already a pretty grand entrance. I went ahead and I also had created some extra fencing, probably not enough, but I want to see what it would look like if we had the fence go from the house over there all the way up to the museum, kind of keeping people from playing in and around the fountains. And that is a pretty interesting look, I would say. It definitely feels like, though, we should and we would put another round of fencing over here and kind of wrap it around. Maybe instead of a house, the fence would kind of connect with a cliff. I could have the cliff kind of come out here a little bit more. And then we'd ask the question, well, what about a path? Could we take this path, extend it, get rid of this river, maybe get rid of a lot more of this cliff over here, and it could go straight up through to the secret beach, which we have talked about being like accessible from the museum. And that would look something like this. As I start to fill in this path, things begin to make a little more sense. We might actually be able to do this. What I can do is I can take the cliff over here and I can bring it right up to this fence. We can create kind of like a natural little point where this fence would connect to it. The path would continue this way. And what I might do is keep a lot of this cliff area over here, but kind of cut out a section in the center. We could even create some waterfalls, like a little water feature, and make the secret beach entrance itself look kind of grand and interesting. My primary focus today is the museum, but I'm starting to get really into this plan. I wasn't sure what we were going to do with the secret beach area, but this might be our answer. So that would mean our cliff does start to kind of come back. For now, we'll just kind of smooth out these corners. I've created a part that kind of juts out a little bit. We can go ahead and fill this part in over here. And that honestly doesn't look too bad to me. We could put some trees up there. Maybe the bamboo farm or that bamboo area we were talking about goes up on this area, this cliff spot we've made. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what becomes of that. Maybe that's the next build we do. I also got rid of a fence here so I could walk between these two things, and now I'm thinking we actually stop the fence right here because it is a little bit annoying not to be able to get in here. If I see like a buried fossil or something, I'm gonna be really annoyed every single time it pops in here. Also, I am trying, but I cannot tuck the fence or the path underneath the staircase here for some reason. I was 100% sure that you could do this, but no matter what I do, I might just have the wrong angle. But it's not letting me do it. Maybe you can. The next DIYs I want to make use for with this build are the Turkey Day garden stands. These also have kind of a stone variant to them, and I am going to do that so they match the fountain. I did just notice this balloon drifting overhead, and it is a maple leaf umbrella recipe. If I want to, that is something we can place outside, so that's pretty cool. But hopefully we get some of those more boring maple leaf recipes out of the way so we can start to collect, I don't know, some actual furniture. So I'm only starting with 4 of these stands. I'm gonna put one right here, one opposite of it right here. I'm actually tempted to put the other one here, and I don't know what I'm putting on these yet. I think I need a trophy of some kind, but that is one I can craft, not a trophy that we like earn from something. So that's what's kind of tricky. I'm also thinking now with these, we move the fountain away from the fence a little bit more. Yeah, that kind of feels better. I know the fountain is not centered in here. How would that look? It's not too bad, but it does draw a little bit of attention to this fountain not being centered with it. But I think, actually, no, I don't think that's too bad. Right now, these are all the different DIYs that I can place on top of things. I would say the terrarium could be a good item. Maybe pots, because it is a museum. I mean, the decorative plate, the golden decorative plate and the mini golden Dharma, I think these would be like ideal types of items if I can get more gold tabletop kind of items. But then we got to get the things to actually craft these, and that's going to be tough. I think this is from Helping Gulliver. It's hard to remember. And then there's items like this, like the Tree's Bounty little tree is a decent little item to put on top of something. I might do pots for now, or maybe nothing at all for the time being, which I know is a bit boring, but I want these empty to remind me to keep going, right? Like, we need to keep looking for DIYs, and if I just put something there, that's what's going to get left there. It's very likely that I come back in and start filling in blanks. It's not very likely that I move stuff, I take stuff down to replace it with other things in the future. We don't have that much time left, so we leave them empty. That gives them the best chance of being filled, if that makes sense. Over to my left are a couple of gyroids that I've buried, and those could also be really good for those pedestals. So I'll keep that idea in my back pocket as well, because we did decide a while ago that gyroids were something that we could use to decorate with, but it's the closest non-DIY item I'm willing to go, right? Like, I'm not using fish and bug models from CJ, like, and Flick. So yeah, I think we just keep it simple. Gyroids could go up there. We'll see. But right now I'm grabbing some shrubs. And I'm going to also grab some trees. I've used, what, like 8 items today or so? I've used almost nothing. And that kind of stinks. But at the same time, I don't want to clutter this too much with stuff. This just feels like a build that needs to be minimalistic in terms of items. But we are going to use some nature. I need to go get some more food so I can scoop up more trees. But I'm going to dig up some more trees, and we're going to put shrubs and trees in this fenced-in area. I think sticking 2 more trees in there like that kind of makes sense. It does ruin a bit of the symmetry, like things start to look a little bit off kilter. But at the same time, I don't know. It makes it also look more dense, and I kind of like that. Honestly, anything to find a use for these cedar trees, because I have a bunch of them, and I've been so tempted to cut them down, but I'm trying not to. I'm trying to find them a good home. What's kind of cool about the shrubs is I can put them in front of the museum, but still walk around them, which that's kind of nice. I think they look good in these positions, and they don't obstruct my ability to get in and out of the area. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. It's all going to look even better when spring rolls around, too. I want to also try adding some pink lilies to the area. You know what's interesting is that this side has been spawning pink lilies, and this side hasn't spawned anything. So the guide I looked up, and which was kind of old, might have been completely wrong about the patterns for how I'm supposed to plant flowers. So anyway, I only have 4 pink lilies right now, but that'll do. I'm going to have to just add some flowers and items along the way. I've learned to accept that about the builds on this island. They're just going to be like half finished, and they're going to stay that way for a while. The placement of these, honestly, underwhelming. I think I need to ditch symmetry as I continue and like just put trees and random stuff in there. Or I can find some more fancy items along the way and maybe put those in there. I would love to use statues. This is like the perfect museum entrance for using like fake statues, but that is not an option. Either way, it's looking okay. I was more encouraged by it when we started. I'm a little bit deflated now because, again, I've, run out of items. However, that doesn't mean what we've accomplished today is invalid. We've done some really good work, and tomorrow we're going to do even more good work. That video, once it's ready, will be on screen now.